Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Broker's Blueprint. I'm your host, Martino Picariello, alongside my co-host, Chris Terrio.
What's up, everybody?
Co-founder, leader of iFund Cities. And we are excited for this episode. We're going to be talking about hidden gems throughout Philadelphia. I know we talk a lot about how to get deals done, but I think it's really important to know about where these deals may lie. Exciting stuff. But before we jump in, Chris, you had a bachelor party this weekend.
I did.
Not for you, right?
Yeah, no, not
You're
for
married.
Me. Not for me. I'm married.
How long have you been married for?
Almost a year, June 14th.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great date.
Yeah, it's a solid date.
Yeah, it's a really solid date. My parents are the 11th of June.
Oh, nice.
My girlfriend's June 11th. So it's the same, birthdays. And then I'm June 26th and my mom's June 20th.
Wow.
We got a lot of June babies.
A lot of June. Some good June energy over there.
It's a lot of June bucks. Yeah,
love that.
It's a lot of fun.
Let's go.
They're all crazy people. We're all crazy. How was the trip? Where'd you guys go?
It was good. Went to Charleston.
Beautiful
Charleston's
place.
Beautiful. Honestly, I would not have any do-overs. I've always lived in Philadelphia. I never really moved to another city. If I ever did, I think it would honestly be Charleston. Charleston's just so beautiful, man. Everything from the architecture, the weather, the people, there's just a good vibe down there, man. Yeah.
Funny story.
Let's go.
My friend, my best friend growing up, known him since second grade, first grade, and he lived in Europe for 8 years because his family was from Europe, specifically the Netherlands. He lived over there for 8 years, didn't really travel the country. We always talked about it growing up. We're going to get a big old van. Yep. I feel like a lot of us have. With our best buddies when we were in 7th grade or 8th grade, we're like, oh, once we get our license, I'm going to gut a school bus. I'm going to put beds in it. We had a whole vision. So he ends up pulling this road trip out. I couldn't do the road trip. So what I did was I just met him in New Orleans, which was perfect timing. It wasn't even intentional. Yep. He was like, I'm doing a road trip. And I already had the plans to go to New Orleans. So he just timed it where he met us the same weekend. And anyway, he's driving back up the coast after his road trip down south, and that was his last stop, New Orleans. He hit Jackson, Nashville, all the the major spots, even the spots you don't even think about, like Memphis.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to go. I'm right here. But he's on his way home, and he hits Charleston. He goes, boys. He FaceTimes us, in the group chat or whatever, and he's just showing us around. I've never been through there. So, he said the same thing. He's like, if I could come back to the States, I would come here. There's no place I'd rather be than right here. And I was like, dude, what? You hear about it. I've never been. Definitely worth the trip.
Yeah, definitely worth the trip. And I'm also smiling because I'm also happily married. I know you have a girlfriend or
3 years. 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is also a statistic. There's a 4-to-1 girl to guy ratio in Charleston.
He said that too. He's like, dude, this is heaven. He's single, so he's just fired up.
Yeah.
So what did the boys do down there? What does a typical weekend in Charleston look like?
It was awesome, man. So the weather was kind of they basically were in a drought. And then obviously the weekend we went down there, it was the first weekend they were going to get rain. So the weather cooperated though. It was great. Yeah. We played Charleston National Friday morning. Beautiful. It rained like crazy in the morning. And as soon as we pulled up at the golf course, it stopped raining. Awesome. So it was car path only for 3 holes. It was fine.
That's the worst.
Beautiful day. Yeah. Worked out. And then we kind of, the next day we did a tour, a bus tour, but party bus, and just took us to different breweries and bars and stuff. Mm-hmm. King Street in Charleston is the main, I don't even want to call it the Broad Street, but it's I don't know, it's like Frankfurt Ave, but no offense, Philadelphia, maybe a little better, but it's the main attraction of Charleston. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the really nice restaurants, there's a place called Hall's, which is super high-end steak restaurant. It's all the bars at night where everybody goes out. There's shops, coffee shops. So it's the main. Where you want to be.
Have you been to Georgetown before in D.C.?
No, I haven't.
It almost sounds very similar to that, but I think it's more shopping in Georgetown. But yeah, I'm kind of imagining that small town vibe.
Yeah.
How old are the homes there? What do they look like? Is it?
Yeah, it depends. It depends where you are. There's a historic section, and it's just that classic southern feel. There's a lot wraparound porches too on some of them. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool for a wraparound porch.
Yeah, same. I want a wraparound
360. Porch bad. I want it on all sides. What was the best thing you guys did down there?
Honestly, it was on the tour. we were just going from like brewery to like the first couple breweries were like, okay, yeah, whatever. You've seen a brewery, you've seen them all kind of, right?
Yeah. Big
but we're like
everywhere and
yeah. We go to the third brewery and it's like basically a glorified garage. And it's like, there's like storage. We're like, where the hell are we? And then in the corner, there's just like this DJ playing. And he turned out to be, no joke, I'll show you some videos after this, like the best DJ we all agree we've ever heard. Just in terms of like mixing songs together and stuff. We had an absolute blast. It was hilarious because there was like 14 guys and there was a DJ. And then, like, before we showed up, it was pretty quiet there. He was definitely just, like, DJing our own private party, basically.
Yeah.
And there was, like, families, like, sitting at the bar, like, eating lunch. And we were just raging in front of this DJ. And we turned around, and there was just, like, families. But they were loving us, obviously. It was a vibe. But, yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a good time.
That's like a hidden gem of a DJ right there. You just kind of find him in the
Dude, we're flying him up. DJ Sparkbox. Shout out.
What is it?
DJ Sparkbox.
Sparkbox.
Yeah,
Let's
look
go.
him up. We're flying him up to Philadelphia for my boy's after party at his wedding.
Unbelievable. He was that good. You guys were like,
That
we're
good.
getting his shit.
Dude,
we're getting his email
Yeah,
address.
we were like groupies. We went out later that night and found him at a bar he was playing at.
Oh.
Yeah, we were like full
gonna be there.
groupie.
You like asked him, you're like, where you gonna be later? And you were
absolutely.
like, I'll be here.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
that's the best.
yeah. Yeah, it was a good time, man.
I could see it now. Another story, I was in St. Pete, and this DJ was incredible, too. One of the best DJs. We later found out it was kind of like a gay bar. No joke. And I was like, no, that makes sense.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
good.
that.
Yeah.
Go to gay bars. They're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and then we look him up. He's like top 100 in the world. And we're like, oh, I forget his name. But yeah, it's like you just go to these random spots.
Yeah.
You just travel a bunch.
They're hiding out like everywhere. Just random. I'm like, dude, why are you playing at a random garage brewery in Charleston? But he's decently well known on Instagram. He's got like a decent amount of followers, and
something I respect about any like artist, like it could be a comedian like kind of practicing lines, or it could be like a DJ practice, like maybe testing out some like like my girlfriend and I, she's obsessed with Kelly Clarkson. I'm not as much, but I'll do whatever.
No,
it
you're
takes,
not a Clarkson guy.
I was, maybe when I was like 10, hazel eyes. But dude,
Since you've been gone,
like she's, at the smaller venue in AC, like maybe not even like a quarter of what she's used to. But she's like, I'm going to try out this new song. And this, so like, I think it's so important for like guys to have like those small gigs, no matter how big you get.
100%.
To just be like, all right, I'm going to work on my craft a little bit right now. Work on the business, not in the business. And then you just meet some cool guys like you. I'm sure he was pumped up when he had 14 dudes just being like, completely engaged with him.
Dude, he was just like not really doing anything. He was on autopilot, and then we showed up, and he was like, he was more into it than we were.
He like came out of the booth and started dancing with you.
Dude, he was on it. Yeah. To your point too, like a lot of like comedians and Comedy Cellar in New York, you go for just no name comedians, and then like Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle, because they're in New York, they're testing out new bits.
Yes,
they'll literally just walk in and. Obviously, it's Dave Chappelle, so they're going to be like, "Yeah, go ahead,
please,"
which is cool. Like,
take my spot.
I'm still waiting for that to happen. Like, go to a comedy show and someone's just famous and they want to test out some new routine.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's like the one thing I've heard stories of, and I've been jealous of. And people go, "Yeah, I was there randomly," and Adam Sandler came up. I'm like,
dude,
"You're fucking kidding me?"
I know.
The one weekend you don't invite me out, you see, punchline Philly. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are some other really good bachelor spots? I'm just curious because I've actually, for the record, never been. I think I told you before.
Yeah.
Never been to a bachelor party. All my friends are still single or in terrible relationships.
Yep. Yeah.
It's tough. But where are some other spots that are like must-goes or like really good for bachelor parties?
Yeah. All right. So I'll say, like, I did mine in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is like, there was if you're one of my friends, there was like a huge debate, like where we should go. And at a certain point, you're just like overthinking it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I was like, all right, guys, like it's all about, not to be cliche, it's all about the company. It's all about the boys.
It is.
We could stay in Philadelphia. We could go to New York. We could go to Atlantic City. We can go to Scottsdale, Arizona. We can go wherever, as long as all the boys are there. Because the best times, is like, it's not like, yes, you have fun at that bar or that pool party or golf, whatever. Right. It's when you're hanging around the kitchen, cracking that first beer with your boys, dude. Just telling stories, making fun of each other. Dude, is there anything better than that?
Nothing.
As a guy? No, there's nothing better.
It reminds me of this one quote in a movie, "We Are Your Friends." It's like Zac Efron's talking about DJ.
I love that movie.
I forget who says it, the name of the kid, but he's like, guys, it's like they're at the pregame.
Yeah.
They're like, this is my favorite part of the night.
Yep.
It's the part of the night before it all happens.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that moment.
Yes.
Like the first couple.
Amazing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
How was Scottsdale though? Like
Scottsdale was,
Sam McKiff, we've had him on the show. Sam McKiff just had his bachelor party there before he married Danielle.
Yep.
And he rented out this crazy, that's the cool thing about these spots now is these Airbnbs are so cool.
Oh my God.
Do you Airbnb it?
Dude, we got a crazy Airbnb, and which by the way, like you can split anything 15 ways, but like all in, it wasn't that like expensive. No. Had a basketball court, a tennis court, a massive pool, putting greens, all in this sick ass mansion. Yeah. And I had all my boys there. It's like, what else could, like, why did we want to leave that?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was going to say, why are you going anywhere? Just grab whatever you need, bring it there. You can grab food, which is a cool thing too.
Yeah.
If you have one of the 15 guys who likes to chef it up, that could even be a fun time, like that early morning, kind of like post night of or whatever, night after. It's just those like little moments. I agree that you kind of look back on. You're like, I forget where we were, but that was a fun day, you know?
Arizona is just built for it too. Like, you know, they have, I forget the name, like that area in Scottsdale. Oh man, my buddy John Crump, shout out. He's from Arizona. We were just talking about it, but it's basically just like same thing as King Street. There's just like all these bars all put together. So that's just like where all the, young people, bachelorette parties go. There's a ton of golf, obviously, in Arizona. So I'm like, if you're going to a bachelor party and you just want to golf and go drink with your boys and just have a bunch of fun, Arizona. Like it's built for it.
Yeah.
We also did Savannah for my cousin's bachelor party.
Heard good things about Savannah too.
Was cool.
It's like old, historic, like very, a lot of character as you walk around, right?
Yep. Good barbecue. Like it's just, I mean, again, I stand by. Anywhere you go it's all about the people. But there's some special spots too.
Yeah,
just depends what you want out of it.
For sure, I'll be hitting you up when I have to draw those plans
we'll talk.
up. Yeah,
talk.
And like in Philly, we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. Like you see so many people just kind of have bachelor parties here. Any spots in the city that you've seen been like really good spots or neighborhoods to like kind of have those 10, 15 guys in an Airbnb because there's tons of Airbnbs in the city.
Never experienced a bachelor party here in Philadelphia, although in my early 20s, I'd say almost every weekend's like a semi just out with your boys.
Basically is.
You know what I mean?
Oh, ladder routine. The whole Samson strip. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Philly definitely has its hidden gems for sure. In terms of like neighborhood for going out, like I love Frankfurt Ave, like we're in Liberties now, but like Frankfurt Ave is great because there's such a good food scene. There's actually a lot of like sort of like smaller Airbnbs or like full house Airbnbs, which would be cool to get. I like the Fishtown area. It's just got the most sort of diversified food and people, I think, in the city.
Agreed.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you kind of you don't see it anywhere else in the city. And it's so new, like, which makes it kind of fun. It's not like downtown or, South Philly where it's like,
not overplayed. Yeah.
No, it's not. And like, I think a lot of people who haven't been to the city in like 10, 15 years might not even know what it is yet.
I always like calling it like the Brooklyn of Philadelphia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Is that? Yeah.
So accurate. Because you have all these like, you just talked about Charleston, you talked about Arizona, like those two downtown strips. Something Nick and I even talked about last episode was like, we don't like commercial corridors are what kind of shapes the neighborhood and brings the values up. For example, Point Breeze Avenue just doesn't have like a commercial corridor because developers don't want to go there because the zoning doesn't match up with what you can do.
Yeah.
So you're going to end up spending more money in Point Breeze and not getting as much of a return as if you were in Frankfurt or not in Frankfurt, in Fishtown on Frankfurt. So like the commercial corridor aspect of doesn't matter where you are, like if it's in a small neighborhood in Philly, in a New York neighborhood or whatever, but you have to have that commercial, just shops,
right.
All that stuff. Even the shore towns have it. The boardwalk is like probably the most glaring example. It's literally you walk and there's shop. And when you go there on a Saturday, it's mobbed. So like all those houses, all those values are just going to be what they are forever because they have that. So, I think another commercial corridor that, so many people, I feel like, know about maybe, but like if you're in downtown, like we're just talking about it, Sampson Street. Sampson kind of cuts back.
Big.
It's between Chestnut and Walnut. So it's like Walnut's your fashion district. Chestnut's your restaurants. Like you have the Oyster House and all that stuff on Sampson. So
yeah, Mission.
I love that. The happy hour there is incredible.
Harp and Crown right across the street. Giuseppe and Sons.
Giuseppe and Sons downstairs.
Yep.
That's something I don't even think most people know about is like Giuseppe and Sons happy hour. There's a line out the door before it opens up. So it's 4:00. It fills up by 4:15.
Yep.
Got to get there at 3:45 if you really want to have like a good seat. So Sampson is right between Walnut and Chestnut. It's probably from maybe 18th or 19th where the park is, all the way down to like 10th Street on the other side of Broad.
Yep.
And on the other side, you have like Elvez, Time.
Yep.
You know, I think Teddy opened up another spot, Mona, on Chestnut. So it's like McGillen's. Shout out McGillen's. I mean, I love
oldest bar in Philly, right?
Oldest bar in Philly.
Yeah.
So I just think that whole area, like if you're going to go downtown, that's just where I would kind of migrate to.
I'm like, damn, Philly's kind of
sick.
It's kind of sick.
And the
I take it for granted. But if I were new to Philly and I just started at, like you just said, 18th and Sampson, and just kind of, if you wanted to work your way down, there's tons of options, just bars to whatever.
And the cool thing was, like in the springtime, they shut down the streets, or the summer times they started shutting down the streets. When COVID happened, obviously all the seating came outside in the city.
Yeah.
I think every city had that.
It was electric.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
like everyone's outside dancing around. The music's live outside. Yeah. So kind of felt like, you know, when you walk down, you've been to Nashville?
Yeah, absolutely.
Broad.
Everybody's
Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is open. Like if it is inside, the windows are wide open, the garage doors are open.
Yep.
You just kind of get that feel of like every bar kind of like vibing around you, and you can just pick. You don't even have to like think too hard. You're just like, this looks and sounds and feels like the right spot. And you just kind of pop in, pop out.
Yep.
I think if I wasn't from Philly and I saw that, I would be pretty impressed.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Philly kind of goes hard, dude.
Yeah. This shit slaps. What? Philly?
Philly, okay.
And then Old City.
Yeah.
You know Old City pretty
I lived in Old City.
Yeah.
Where'd you live? On Strawberry Street. So in between Market and Chestnut. In between 2nd and 3rd.
Nice.
That's all Strawberry Street is. Just runs like that.
That big of a street.
It's that big.
I've actually never heard of Strawberry
Street.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Is it a condo
Strawberry Mansion.
Yeah, very.
My boys.
Don't go to Strawberry Mansion if you're not from Philly and you hear this. Don't go to.
No, not Strawberry. We lived in the Strawberry Mansion on Strawberry Street.
Yes, big difference. But I mean, that just
don't
sounds.
Go to Strawberry Mansion.
Don't go there.
Yeah,
go to the Strawberry Mansion.
Good point. Good clarity.
Where So what is that? Is that a condo or like like a couple levels?
It was
buddies, or like
a commercial mixed use building. First floor basement was commercial, owned by this guy Andy. He's a friend. Me and Ryan actually both know him.
Yeah.
And then second floor was just like a loft. It was 2 beds, and then third floor and fourth floor was us. It was 3 beds, loft style, like huge, like 30-foot ceilings, loft style.
That's awesome.
Exposed brick. As like a, when I was single as bachelor, it was pretty cool to have.
The ductwork is just like exposed throughout the whole place.
Oh, yeah.
That's the cool thing about
super high Pico bill. It was sick.
Massive. Biggest bill to this day I've ever seen. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I always wanted to live in.
Yeah.
But then you look at, some of the functionality of the space, like when you have kids maybe, right?
Yeah.
It's perfect for that though. Like
for that age, like 23 to 27, 26, like that was cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice to have a couple friends in the building or around the building. So that way it's like a quick text and you guys are out.
Yep.
But if you go down there, it's 2nd Street, right? Like, and it still continues into like Northern Liberties, which is the cool part, which is actually what street we're shooting this on. And it's like, Buffalo Billards, it kind of kicks off like the L. Then you have like Plow at the Stars.
Plow at the Stars,
great spot.
Yep.
There's a La Cubana or something like that.
Yep.
Where they have this great Cuban food, and then they just clear the whole place out. And it's a wide open dance floor.
Yeah, exactly. At night,
wild,
great spot.
What's the one? No, I think that's really the main 3, right? The Staples.
Yeah, and you had Continental at the corner.
Yes,
which unfortunately shut down.
When was that? I actually
that was like a few years ago because it was open when I was on Strawberry Street, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then if you keep going against traffic up 2nd Street, you get to like around Ray Street. You get Tuna Bar, which is a great sushi spot.
Okay.
You get Ray Street Cafe. You get Patty's Pub, which is what Always Sunny is based off of.
Is that
Patty's
Pub
right there?
I know it's based.
Yeah, that's what it's based off of.
That's so funny.
So a lot of cool stuff in Old City.
Great show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty accurate depiction of what the city is. I feel like those types of people are just like, they're
It's
everywhere.
always sunny.
It's
always pouring rain outside.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can pick up the rain off the window here. And then I'm thinking, like, as you get out of Old City, and it's funny because I'm touring with this buyer last summer who's a really good friend.
Yeah.
Shout out Allie and Derek. I helped him find a rental when I first got in the business, and then, you know, she called me 2 years later and was like, we're ready to, you know, I'm done paying 100% interest every month. I want to start putting some, you know, investments in my portfolio and all that stuff. So we're touring, and she was adamant about either staying in Fairmount where she was, going to Old City or somewhere around there. And then we kind of stumbled on to South Street, which recently at that time, and that's why it's so good to have great buyers who like kind of understand the city. Like, I work with some people who aren't really familiar with it. They grew up in the suburbs, but they got a job in the city, and they're like, their parents are with them touring, which is fine. I love when the parents come out, but they're just so nervous about, like, there was a shooting on South Street 2 years ago now.
South Street's got a little shiesty, you know?
It did. But it was funny because, like, I just met up with Derek, Allie's boyfriend, for like so long, since I've known him. And he was like, dude, ever since that shooting, like, they've tightened it down. You know, like, that almost needed to happen sooner than later, so people started drawing attention to it.
Right.
Now, Jim Steaks is back open. A lot of, like, the staples, Mom's Tattoo or Tattoo Mom.
Yeah, Tattooed Mom,
Yeah, like, all those staples are kind of coming back a little bit. And I think some spots to look at for 2026, 2027, 2028 to start getting really ramped up is South Street.
Interesting.
Like, that's a corridor that was awesome back in the day.
Awesome back in the day. And right off of South Street is Queen Village. It's one of like the nicest, like, family driven neighborhoods, right?
Very quiet, I feel like.
Quiet.
It's probably, like you said, it's right off of the block. So you could get a spot in Queen Village and be two blocks, 3 blocks away from the fun stuff, but still feel like you're safe in that kind of nice little nook. I think the whole east side of Broad is better than the west side of Broad. I'd love your opinion on that. I think, like, when you look at east side of Broad from south to north, you obviously have the stadiums. Then you have, like, Oregon Avenue has, like, Oregon Steaks, all these great spots. I think Tony Luke's is there.
Yep.
You keep going up, you hit Schneider Avenue, which is kind of like that weird like, kind of on the east side of Broad,
right?
From like 10th Street to 5th Street, it's like weird how it kind of lays out there.
Yeah.
Then you keep going north, it's like Pennsport, East Passyunk. Great neighborhoods.
East Passsyunk's great neighborhood.
Great neighborhood.
Also great restaurants.
Barcelona is like a staple.
Barcelona Wine Bar.
I was so upset when I found out that was a franchise. I thought that was like a one of one. Did you know it was a franchise?
No, I think I just recently found that out too. Yeah. I was like, oh damn, I thought that was a Philly thing.
Fuck. Yeah, I was like, that one thing I thought we had.
Yeah.
You know? But now we still got Angelo's and Tony Luke's and all those great spots. But keep going north into Bella Vista.
Yeah, you ride East Passyunk basically, like, right. It's like runs diagonal, rides right up to Bella Vista, like 7th and what is that, like Fitzwater-ish?
Yeah,
type.
like Christian area.
Yeah,
exactly.
Christian, yeah.
And what was that one development you were telling me about, the Fitzwater Plaza?
Actually, not Fitzwater Plaza. Sorry,
what is it called?
It's actually on the river, so by Old City. So we didn't get there yet.
Okay, yeah.
But it's Follietta Plaza, which is a shameless plug. Okay. My mom's maiden name is Follietta.
Really?
It's named after our family. My great uncle Tom was actually the ambassador to Italy.
Your Uncle Tom?
Yeah, my Uncle Tom Follietta. He was a city council member. Eventually, went on to U.S. Congress, and then he was chosen by Bill Clinton, President Clinton, to be the U.S. ambassador to Italy. Fun fact.
Like the ambassador.
The United States.
It's not like there's a group of
Italy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Do you know what he did, like, regularly? Like, what his day-to-day looked like? I'm just traveling a lot, I guess.
He was a diplomat. So, like, there's actually a lot of stories. Like, an American plane crashed in Italy, and he had to go there and, like, basically be a diplomat. Like, they were very, very upset, the United States government, and he went there and basically made peace. And there's tons of stories. I'll give you my favorite story, actually.
I love stories.
It has nothing to do with politics. So my Uncle Tom is just like he was a really, really good guy. And he just made it on a handshake, right? So, and by, like, keeping his word and a handshake. But he's also, like, a South Philly guy. So he's got kind of that, like, South Philly, like, likes to, like, tell jokes and, like, make jokes, whatever. So anyways, as soon as he gets elected, chosen to go, he's staying in a villa in Italy, outside of Rome, and it's sick. Like, you're the ambassador to Italy, so it like comes with some cool things, right? Like, you get your own security detail and like all this stuff.
Unreal.
So my whole family, I'm not there. I was a baby, but my whole family flies out to go see him, and they're on a commercial airplane, whatever. So they land in Italy, and it's like an 8-hour flight. Everybody on the flight's tired, and it's my entire family. And they're on the tarmac, and then the plane stops, and it's like people are like, "Oh, what the hell's going on? Like, we're delayed, whatever." Then the pilot comes on, and he's like, "Yeah, would all the members of the Foglietta family please come to the front of the plane and grab your luggage?" And they're like, "What? What the hell?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's go." So they grab all their luggage. And they go to the front of the plane. They deboard from the plane in the middle of the tarmac. And as they're coming off, they see a motorcade of like black limos. And they get into one of the black limos. And in the back seat is my Uncle Tom. And he goes, "How'd you like that shit? Welcome to Italy."
Dude.
Yeah.
Rolling out the red carpet.
Yeah. Just basically being like, "Yep, I can do that now. What's up?"
It's like his first month, right? He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
a whole...
Flying the whole family
I'm
out
shutting
here.
the whole airport
Yeah.
down. I'm fucking blocking off the
How
runway."
funny is that? Yeah.
Great. That's so great.
Just being like, "Look what I can do."
Dude. I bet he was just like waiting for that. He was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Dude,
Exactly.
This is why I wanted
Yeah.
to do what I do.
Yeah. But no, it's cool. So
That's great.
Anyways, while we started talking about that tangent, Foglietta Plaza was named after him, and actually my grandfather, Ted Foglietta, who was a police captain, Philadelphia.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that whole revitalization of that neighborhood is going to be the Riverwalk, and pretty cool.
What is that on? It's not the Spring Garden one, is it?
No.
Or, is it more South Philly?
No. It's like Old City. So it's what would that be? Like Chestnut goes down to what's just below Chestnut? Walnut, Spruce.
Yeah, Walnut, Spruce, Pine.
Yeah. So it's basically it bumps up to Columbus Boulevard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And all the stuff they're doing there. Something else to look out for, like how they're connecting. I think they're doing that like walkover now from 95, right? They tore down the whole overpass.
So that's exactly that's
where it is.
It's that whole area, and it's going to go over 95 right to the river.
Yeah, I think that's like the best spot, and it connects to South Street almost, like the way that.
Yeah,
that's so cool. I had no idea your family was like that connected with the city, and like, obviously, you said that was your grandfather who was the ambassador.
My great uncle Tom. So his brother.
Okay, your grandfather's brother.
Yep,
that's so sick.
Yeah,
and then your father was police captain?
No. My dad.
Who was a police captain?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather was. Wow. So you have a police captain, and then the ambassadors. You got to.
Yeah.
Any other uncles that were like?
Yeah, I know.
How many uncles and aunts did you have? Like from his side?
Great. So that was like my grandfather, my great uncle, and then I have on my mom's side I have 3 uncles.
Okay.
4 uncles.
Yeah.
With marriage. Yeah.
Sounds about right with like the Italian family.
Yeah, exactly.
Most families back in like the early 90s would just have 4 or 5 kids.
4, 5, 6 kids.
Some would go up to 9. Like 10.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
all right,
yeah.
Damn, give this woman a break. Like, I don't even know how you do that. Like, for 30 years of your life, you're just building out babies.
Yep.
What are some other hidden gems? Like, let's go like top 3 neighborhoods you would live in that maybe most people aren't really thinking about.
All right, let's think.
Putting you on the hot
they're
seat.
not thinking about. Again, I go to Fishtown, which is probably not getting as much like notoriety as Rittenhouse or Society Hill. I wouldn't sleep on, Bella Vista too. Like sometimes Bella Vista gets overlooked because it's like Queen Village is right there, but like Bella Vista is actually like the Italian market.
Yeah.
Closer to East Passyunk and Broad Street. You can like pretty much walk to all the great spots like Washington Ave to Broad Street to back up to South Street. You're kind of like centralized right there, and there's a lot to do.
Agreed.
And then I'll ask you actually, like, I'm not as super familiar with, Fairmount I know is great. I think Francisville is another great little neighborhood. I'm not quite sure about all of the walkability to like bars and restaurants though.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Like, I'm super focused on East Side,
me
sort
too.
of, but like West Side's got a lot too.
Yeah, it does. I think the walkability still has like a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and it's funny. Like, I always look at like Francisville as like Point Breeze or Brewery Town as Point Breeze, just like kind of flipped, you know, because if you're looking at the map, Point Breeze is on the south side of Washington. And then the north divider, I'd say, is like Girard Avenue probably. So like between Girard and Washington is all pretty prime. And then like you just said, like Francisville, Brewery Town, you start to get out of that.
Yeah.
And for me, and I don't know if this is just because I'm a South Philly born guy, like, but I just feel like you can really get anywhere you want in the city in South Philly pretty easily. Like even last night, my girl and I, we walked to Chick's, which is right on Washington Avenue.
Chick's. Great spot.
Great spot. Great food.
Yeah.
Try the mussels. There's freaking Italian sausages.
I had mussels there.
How great.
So good.
Dude.
So good.
I was like, can I get some more bread? Like halfway through, I'm just, the Diablo was mixing so well. But we walked in, it took us, 5 minutes. No joke.
Are you Grad Hospital or Point Breeze?
Point Breeze. So we're 20th and Dickinson.
Yeah.
So basically, you're going right to Washington, 5 blocks. I always, in my mind, I calculate it 1 block's 1 minute. Yeah. That we all walk.
Right.
So, all right, 5 blocks, 5 minutes, and then 2 blocks down, 7 minutes total. Easy. Like, I'm like, let's just drive there. Or sorry, let's just walk there. The weather was great. Yesterday was beautiful. It's a lot shittier today. But I just loved, and we even talked about it on the way home, we're like, we can get banging food like that all within a 10-minute walk from us. Like we can go to East Passyunk because 20th to Broad Street is a 5-block walk, another 5 minutes, and then East Passyunk's just 2 blocks over. So it's all within 10. You're walking. Francisville, I can't speak from personal experience, but I don't know many bars that are really within that radius.
See, that's the problem.
That's the problem. And they need to bring that corridor there.
Dude, I want to almost like pull up a video or like drive through it and show you. Yeah.
No, it's just Taylor, right there. Pull it up. Yeah. Like,
pull it up, Taylor.
That'll be coming next. We're going to get a TV on the pod.
Season 2. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
If you drive through like Ridge Ave, basically. So like Ridge Ave kind of like starts like anchored by the Divine Lorraine on Broad Street. And if you just go up Ridge Ave, there was so much development that happened there over the past like 5-7 years.
Yep.
But the ground floor commercial, just like, I guess there wasn't a ton of thought put into, we really need to push for like this bar. And by the way, I don't blame developers or anybody. Like, I don't want to open a bar, but like, it needed some coffee shops. It needed some bars. It needed some good food. You walk down there, and it's like there's nothing wrong with like a nail salon here and there, but it's like a vape shop, a nail salon, another nail salon, a corner store. It's like
it's ridiculous.
There's nothing to walk to.
Yeah, that is such a potential. Like it has such potential.
It's such a good corridor.
It's a shame. And there's still some like plots I think that are like going to be developed in the future, and I hope they think about that.
But you need a real plan, and like zoning is a big issue, and it's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But this is where like zoning actually should play a role, is like, what does the neighborhood actually need?
Yeah. Agreed.
And I don't know if Philadelphia around Girard or Ridge Ave needs another nail salon.
No, sure doesn't. Shit.
No.
I'd so agree. And there's so many zoning issues, I think, just like sporadically, but that one looks at you right in the face, and it's like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah.
And then same with Point Breeze Avenue. It's like, it's funny. I'm just thinking there's a thing with Kenyatta Johnson and I think Rachel Pritzker is throwing like
at Rouge.
At Rouge, yeah.
I'm supposed to go to that.
I'm supposed to as well.
We're totally gonna go, Rachel.
Guys, we'll be there. Yeah. I don't know what I got going on. I think I have a showing until like 6:30 tonight, and then I have best and final offers. But anyway, I'm looking at my work, right? But anyway, I almost want to go to this event just to look at Kenyatta Johnson's our council member for Point Breeze and maybe some other little pockets. I just want to go there just to be like, dude, why? I don't even want to impose like, this is what you should do. But why is it? Because I still don't understand his reasoning behind keeping the zoning the way it is and not even making any efforts to change it at all. Like I haven't seen him put anything forward personally. He may have. And maybe that's another question I'd ask.
What zoning is he keeping versus
2.
changing?
Just 2 versus 2.5. So CMX 2 doesn't allow for the height variance that 2.5 would offer.
Got it.
It's that simple.
Would 2.5 make the homes more valuable potentially?
It would make the developments more smaller because you can add another unit or 2.
Okay, which potentially increases the value of the existing home.
Exactly. And if anyone knows real estate, all you have to do is increase the income of the building.
Yeah.
You've increased the value.
So what would that do though?
I think a couple blocks would probably be, I don't want to say torn down. Like there's definitely some structures that are great, but I think whole blocks like you saw on Frankfurt Avenue would finally, because I think Frankfurt's 2.5.
Right.
You could build those multi-units where you have a beautiful commercial and then 2 units above versus just 1 unit above. And that extra unit is not that much to build when you already have, you work with tons of developers. When you already have all the guys on site, materials there, the cost goes down. The economies of scale help you build just another unit a lot easier. So like,
I have a question real quick to stay on that topic. So if that overlay or the zoning were to change and the value of those properties were to increase, then said owners of those properties would then potentially be more inclined to sell their house because they have more value in it. And if you sold that house and you voted for Kenyatta Johnson, then you'd no longer be there and your voters would leave.
Potentially.
Maybe.
No, that's the thing is the
controversy.
You're right. That's the dilemma in real estate.
I just don't know. That's a theory, but like, you know what I mean?
No, you hit the nail on the head. You're right. Like,
what other reason would you not increase? I don't know.
No, that's the thing. And like, that's what everyone's afraid of in Point Breeze. I'm there myself. Like some people across the street from me have lived there for 40 years and they're like, dude, I see where this is going, kind of thing. Like I see that my house is going to be like the taxes are too high for me to pay now.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, they're so used to like $1,000 taxes. Now they're $4,000 for like a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
And that's really what is going to eventually gentrify everything. I think is taxes are going to just push people out.
Yeah.
The question is now, like when Philadelphia is or was the most affordable, now what's more affordable than Philadelphia? You go just a 30-minute drive to Media, your taxes double. Mainline, they triple. Jersey, they triple. So it's like, that's the dilemma of real estate that always somehow like solves itself in a way. Like there's always that's just the way of the world. I think, you know what I mean? Like just like
I know you don't want to like displace people, but like, and I understand change zoning would do that, but I don't know.
It's funny to think that, because if they did get more, I think it's education at the end of the day. That's the big gap in what I see. Like some people just don't know what to do with their real estate because they could easily get an appraisal, probably pull out a HELOC, but they don't. I think I mentioned it to my neighbor. They're like, what's a HELOC, And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of viewers.
A credit for those that don't know.
There you go. But yeah, like this is, I'll tell them to start watching my podcast because that's what we want to provide here is like just those little tidbits of things that'll give you a 10-degree shift.
Yeah.
And I want those types of people in those situations to like watch this stuff because it's so like minute. It's not like a big secret that someone's keeping for themselves. It's like, dude, the information's out there. We're putting it out there. So many podcasts, bigger pockets. I think there's the Smart Investor with one dude who's like crazy and weird, but he's got good facts. Cody Johnson or whatever her name is, who's just like a real estate wizard. She buys businesses, buys real estate. So it's like there's knowledge out there. And I think if the education gap closes, like where people that maybe just didn't care, kind of start to care and cover that gap, man.
Yeah.
I think there's a ton of solutions out there, but until you want to kind of seek it out, it'll never just be put in your lap,
Yeah.
Something that I think my whole life I went through thinking like, it's just going to come to me, but you got to go and get it. You know?
100%, man.
So,
yeah.
But those are like the little minute differences. And I know we were talking about Francisville that kind of delved into all that, but these hidden gem neighborhoods, I think that we're talking about have that like small commercial corridor and they have like just accessibility to the rest of wherever else you want to go. Bella Vista is a great example.
You also see it's like neighborhoods like on the brink. Like they're so close.
Yeah.
Like our office is at 10th and Spring Garden. And you have Spring Garden Street, like right there. It's like one of the main arteries of the city. Yep. And you start to see little things pop up, like a brewery here. You got the 999 building, and it's like got a bunch of stuff, like a barbecue shop. You got La Chinesca. But still, it's like, for some reason, it's not like, doesn't have that main anchor, like that main pull. Like, how many times like on a weekend are you like, hey, let's go to Spring Garden Street? At 10th and Spring Garden.
Never once thought that. Never. Ever.
Right.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, that's what needs to change change a neighborhood.
Agreed. And I think the one thing I'm thinking of is big commercial staples.
Yeah.
Typically, like, it's hard for them to pencil Philadelphia because of the taxes.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, I know you know what I mean by that, but it's we're the second highest. I don't think this has changed, right, in the last 3 years. New York has a 17% business tax. Philadelphia is 16. And if you look at just the two cities, like we shouldn't be that high.
Yep.
So I think if you get a little bit of a decrease there. You start to get some more really serious accredited staples that are just able to maybe allow the rest of the mom and pops to be like, oh, there's a market here.
Do you know Philadelphia is the largest city where the majority of the population commutes outside of the city for work rather than inside?
I did not know.
Think about all the people that work in New York City, and they're like, I want to live outside of the city, but and they commute in. It's the opposite of Philadelphia.
Yeah,
it commutes outside of the city for their work.
So you live here, you work in South Jersey, you work on the main line.
Yeah, or you work in King of Prussia, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Morristown.
I did not even know that.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of that has changed.
76 is such a mess in the morning.
It's so bad. Don't ever drive on 76
Never.
At like 8 or 5 or 4 p.m.
Yeah,
it's
or just ever.
Maybe midnight. You're
Dude, it could be 3 o'clock on a Sunday, and you're just, I'm totally fucked.
Bumper to bumper. You're just staring at Boathouse Row like I'm going to kill myself.
It's tough.
Terrible.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I like Fairmount because of Kelly Drive. I think that's a great.
Yes.
But driving on it is terrible.
Yeah. Fairmount's good. Fairmount has a ton of restaurants and bars and stuff like that.
For people that don't know the city well, it's an art museum district.
Yes.
And it's just behind it. And it goes probably to like 28th Street. And geez, like to your point, you go a couple blocks and you're lost. Like you're in Francisville Brewery Town and there's not many, I should say, commercial, spots to go. So I would say my favorite hidden gem, once again, South Philly guy, it's going to be Girard Estates and Packer Park. Like no one talks about those two places.
Yeah.
And the locals love that because they want it to stay. They're Hawaii.
Yeah, they're going to come after you for saying that.
Literally, I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to rat you out. I don't mean to call you out. But they are such good pockets of the city where you can feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
You have such a good community, and there's a couple of really easy local spots that just have been there forever. So the community is strong.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't go southwest because we just talked about southeast, mainly east of Broad, south of Market. And those neighborhoods are great. They're so walkable. But typically you're going to be living in like maybe 1,500 to 2,000. In Packer Park, Girard Estates, these homes are passing 2,000 square feet. They're massive. And you have parking. Parking is huge in the city, man.
Huge. Need parking.
You need it. And the one thing I do like about Philly is our SEPTA lines. Like I think you can get from anywhere in the city through our SEPTA lines. I've done it myself this year since living in Point Breeze. And like, if you're looking for like that family feel, that's just it's like the best kept secret in Philadelphia is like southwest, far southwest, not like west, but you know what I mean? Far south, little west.
Yeah.
And you can really feel comfortable there for years because your kids are good.
Yeah.
That's a big reason a lot of people move out of the city is the kids.
Of course. The school district.
School district.
Yeah.
I don't even know what school district.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I would fall in if I had a kid in 20th and Dickinson.
Right.
But I would have to get a charter school. So it's either you look at paying the taxes to go to Jersey or you look at paying for the charter school, and it usually comes out in the wash.
Yep.
Usually.
Yep.
That's kind of a dilemma. But those are definitely, I think, places to look at for sure. Bella Vista. Anything on the north side that you would say besides Fishtown, Northern Liberties?
I mean, I would consider Francisville like north side of like the west. I would just say Fairmount. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Do you have a lot of clients building in Francisville right now? Like, do you see a lot of guys?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have a big 24-unit townhome development going on right in Francisville.
Nice.
Fairmount area.
Are those, what's like the price point on those? Do you know?
I think they're going to be like 800 to $1 million.
Parking,
with parking.
Okay.
Every place has a garage, 2-car garage.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. Drive aisle. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you have so much potential there.
Yeah.
Once some minute things happen, it'll just.
Yeah.
I always talk about this, but I think when the World Cup happens next year and we have an influx of people in the city, we're gonna quickly see what we're lacking. We're gonna get a ton of feedback from people that are not here, and I hope Mayor Parker, and then. Mayor Parker, it's up to her to kind of communicate with the council members to just finally start to be like, all right, let's start to look at this city as like a New York or a Boston, right? Like people, we want to start bringing more tourists here, and not just for the Rocky Steps,
Right, exactly. Cheesesteaks and Rocky Steps.
That's really it.
Yeah.
When you think about Philly, if you're like from New York, that's all I hear from my buddies up there. Like, why would I come there?
Birds.
And the birds.
And the birds.
Go birds. Yeah, like the Truist was awesome having it here because there were some people.
Yeah, super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go to any? Or no, you were.
No, I was away. And then next year they're doing PGA Championship at Aronimink.
Amazing.
Out in the burbs.
I heard that's like in Paoli, Devon.
Yeah, it's actually it's
course.
like I would say it's Radnor or Conestoga School District.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I have a listing on like Church Road, which is like right there around the corner. And
go.
someone just mentioned that to me yesterday. Like, we want to live near that golf course.
Yep.
You have, and I was like, it's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Literally listing this in 2 months. So, if anyone's looking for a house in Paoli, TE,
There you go.
Yeah, right off that course.
Hit up my boy.
Please do. Yeah, man, I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover today. Any final remarks on the hidden gems?
No, man. I think it's all about for me, it's what you're looking for. Do you have a family? Are you single? There's a lot of different neighborhoods that offer different things. Yeah. So there's like a good food scene, there's a good going out scene, there's a quieter neighborhood feel for families. So it's all about what you're looking for. And Philly does really have something for everybody.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a city of neighborhoods, and every block is just like a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
One thing I want to kind of ask before we go is like, do you remember one of your best first days in the city, either with your girl, with the boys, like, or just by yourself, like younger days, maybe like late teens, early 20s, and you were like, wow, like it blew you away. Wow. How cool the city was that day.
Blew me away.
Blew you away. Shoes came off, hat flew off. You were just like, holy shit, this is sick. Any days like that you can remember?
Oh man. Honestly, my family grew up in the city, so I've been here like my whole life. I grew up in the burbs, but my family's been here in the city forever. I would say honestly, man, like that whole art museum area, that still blows me away. When you're up at like the Rocky, I know we just talked about the Rocky Steps, but when you're walking around there and you have the river behind you, you got like all the flags that lead up to City Hall. Like honestly, if you come to Philadelphia, like, and you just stand up at those steps and look out, like, and you have the whole city sort of right there, that kind of, it still blows me away to this day. I don't have a cool like specific story. No. I'll think about it for next time, but yeah, I know you got some. What do you got over there?
Oh, there's a reason that's the most touristy spot. It's because of that. It does take your breath away. And if you are coming from anywhere in the world, you have to see it.
Yeah, you have to.
It's such a good view. It's kind of connected to it. Just made me think like my first day walking the Riverwalk. It kind of blew me away. I was like, how have I never done this before? You know?
Yeah.
We're walking from, I think we got on at like Walnut Street, and we just took it all the way north until we hit the museum.
Yep.
And behind the museum kind of took my breath away a little bit because you have these like little trails. You have a bungalow back there, and then it looks over Boathouse Row. Yeah. There's actually a cool wedding venue. I don't know what that's called. On the water there.
I know. I've been to a wedding there.
Have you?
Yeah.
What is it called? Waterworks.
Yeah, Waterworks. There you go.
Yeah. How was it there? Like,
great. It was Ryan's wedding. He got married. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
It was good.
Yeah, I feel like that actually made me think. I was like, I want to look into that for my day. But I was just blown away. We kind of spent like much longer than we were expecting there, and we ended up actually finding a spot. And that's the cool thing about being a local in a city.
Yep.
Is like when you go there a few times, you start to maybe like sit off that one ledge around the corner that no one, so we walked it that morning and we said, we're going to come back tonight. We grabbed a bottle of wine from Wine and Spirits on 18th and Fairmount, and then just walked back over, parked our asses on the ledge right over the water. And that was one of the days where I was like, I'm just so lucky to be able to just literally have this in my backyard. And I know I don't have an actual backyard. My backyard's smaller than this room, but Philly is a playground. I've always said that to myself to make me look at it in a positive way, because people can get scared and intimidated by big cities. Yeah. For me, I was always like, this is my playground. If I want to go somewhere, like you said, to this neighborhood, hit the monkey bars, that's where I want to go. If I want to just chill out, hit the slides, go in there. So I don't know. It's a kind of a weird analogy, but it always put me in the mindset and the frame of just being a kid again and enjoying every view, every step. You're kind of like in your head, dun, 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 dun. You just feel like a kid again. And I think when you look at any city in that lens, especially Philadelphia, you can find whatever you want.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
And dude, it's walkability, drivability. Like, I don't know another city where you could drive from the northernmost point to like the stadium, southernmost point in like 15 minutes, barring any like major traffic jams. But like, it's super accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I love Philly.
I love Philly.
Yeah.
Can't wait till next year when everyone gets to experience it with us, man.
I know.
I gotta find out when the FIFA tickets come out because I want to catch a couple games.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, but appreciate you guys staying tuned for our take on hidden gems, some hidden gems maybe around the country you haven't thought of yet. And as far as Philly goes, we just hit the nail on the head. I think like it's pretty great. I love Philly. So thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. We have a lot of guests coming on in the later parts of the summer that Chris is going to be bringing on. Super excited. If there's any topics or people that you want to hear from in particular, leave a comment down below on would really love to learn more about X, Y, or Z, and we'll make sure that we start delivering that value to you, getting those people on and picking their brains. Appreciate the support. It's been great so far. Appreciate you, Chris, as always.
Likewise, brother.
Thank you, brother. We will see you guys next time.